Do you know how much of your paycheck should really go toward your rent or mortgage? With soaring rent prices and rising mortgage rates, figuring out what's affordable has never been trickier. Today, we're breaking it all down by salary. Whether you make $40,000, $80,000, or $150,000 a year, we'll explore how much house or apartment you can realistically afford. Stay tuned for practical tips that could save you money. Understanding affordability in 2025. Housing costs have skyrocketed over the last few years. Mortgage rates, which were as low as 2.65% in early 2021, now hover between 6.5% and 7%. Rent prices haven't lagged behind either. The median rent in the U.S. currently stands at around $1,942 per month, up over 10% year over year in cities like Cleveland, Indianapolis, Raleigh, and Charlotte. But how do you determine what's affordable for your salary? That's what we're here to answer. In this video, we'll tackle both renting and buying, using 3 salary examples: $40,000, $80,000, and $150,000 per year. The 30% rule for renters. Let's start with renting. The 30% rule is a widely accepted guideline suggesting that renters should allocate no more than 30% of their gross monthly income toward rent. This rule ensures that housing expenses remain manageable and allows room in your budget for other essentials like food, transportation, and savings. For instance, if your gross income is $4,000 per month, your rent should ideally not exceed $1,200. While this rule is helpful, it's essential to adjust it based on your unique financial situation. If you live in a high-cost area, you might need to spend more on rent, but compensate by cutting expenses elsewhere. Conversely, in lower-cost areas, spending less than 30% could free up funds for long-term goals like investing or debt repayment. Ultimately, the 30% rule is a starting point to help renters maintain financial balance and avoid housing-related financial stress. Challenges of renting in 2025. Renting in 2025 presents significant challenges, particularly for Americans trying to adhere to the 30% income rule. With median incomes ranging from $38,000 to $42,000 annually, many renters find themselves spending far more than 30% of their income on housing. High rent prices, coupled with stagnant wages, leave little room for savings or covering other essentials like healthcare, transportation, or groceries. This financial strain forces many renters to make tough choices or go into debt just to meet basic needs. If you're struggling with rent, there are practical strategies to consider. Try negotiating with your landlord, as many are willing to adjust rents for reliable tenants. Expanding your search to suburban or rural areas can also yield more affordable options. Alternatively, finding a roommate to share costs can significantly ease the financial burden, making renting more manageable. Buying a home. 28-36 rule. Now, let's move on to buying a home. 2 major rules dominate housing affordability for buyers: the 28-36 rule and the 30-33 rule. The 28-36 rule is a practical benchmark for determining how much you can afford when buying a home. The first part of the rule advises that your monthly housing expenses, including mortgage payments, property taxes, and insurance, should not exceed 28% of your gross monthly income. The second part suggests that your total monthly debt payments, including credit cards, student loans, and the mortgage, should stay below 36% of your gross income. For example, if your monthly income is $6,000, your housing expenses should be no more than $1,680, and your total debt payments should not exceed $2,160. Adhering to this rule ensures that your home purchase doesn't jeopardize your financial stability or ability to manage other obligations. It's a safeguard to help you strike the right balance between achieving home ownership and maintaining overall financial health. The 30-33 rule. The 30-33 rule is another guideline that helps you manage housing expenses responsibly. The 30 refers to the maximum percentage of your gross monthly income that should go toward housing expenses, such as rent or a mortgage. Meanwhile, the 33 suggests that your total monthly housing and utility costs combined should not exceed 33% of your income. For example, if you earn $5,000 per month, your rent or mortgage payment should ideally be $1,500, and your total housing-related expenses, including utilities, should stay within $1,650. This rule provides a broader perspective, ensuring you account for hidden costs like electricity, water, and maintenance, which often get overlooked. By following the 30-33 rule, you create room in your budget for other necessities and avoid stretching your finances too thin, keeping you on track to meet your long-term financial goals. Adjusting expectations by salary. Your salary plays a critical role in shaping realistic housing expectations. While rules like the 30% rule or 28/36 rule provide helpful starting points, they must be tailored to your unique financial circumstances. For instance, if you're earning a modest salary, spending 30% on housing might leave little for other essentials like groceries, transportation, and savings. Conversely, higher earners may find it easier to allocate a larger percentage toward rent or mortgage without compromising their lifestyle. It's also important to consider your location. Housing costs in urban areas may force adjustments, whereas rural areas may allow you to save more. Beyond housing costs, your salary should also accommodate long-term goals like retirement, emergency savings, and investments. Adjusting expectations by salary ensures that your housing decisions align with your overall financial well-being, giving you greater control over your money. Tips for staying within budget. Sticking to a budget when purchasing a home is essential to avoid financial stress. Start by getting pre-approved for a mortgage to determine your realistic price range. This ensures you don't overextend yourself when house hunting. Remember to budget for hidden costs of home ownership, such as maintenance, HOA fees, and property taxes, which can add up quickly. It's easy to get carried away by the allure of a dream home, but staying disciplined and adhering to your financial plan will pay off in the long run. Resist the temptation to stretch your budget unnecessarily, as it can lead to long-term strain on your finances. By staying mindful of your limits and planning for all expenses, you can achieve the goal of home ownership while maintaining financial stability. Should you stretch your budget? In high cost of living areas, some argue that spending 40% of your income on housing might be acceptable. But this approach comes with trade-offs. Stretching your budget often means sacrificing savings, discretionary spending, or financial security. For high earners, such as those making $300,000 per year, spending a larger percentage on housing may be less risky since their basic expenses make up a smaller portion of their income. However, for those earning less, allocating too much to housing can lead to financial instability. Before stretching your budget, consider your long-term financial goals and whether the additional expense aligns with them. While a slightly higher housing cost might make sense in some cases, it's crucial to ensure you're not jeopardizing your ability to save, invest, or handle unexpected expenses. Final thoughts on affordability. Housing affordability is deeply personal. What works for one person may not work for another. The key is to balance your housing costs with your other financial goals. Avoid becoming house poor, where most of your income goes toward housing, leaving little for savings or leisure. So, how much housing can you actually afford in 2025? It depends on your salary, your debts, and your financial goals. Stick to the guidelines we've discussed today, and you'll be on track to make a smart decision. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more personal finance tips. Let us know in the comments, what's your biggest challenge with housing costs? Thanks for watching.